There's a reason why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others, no matter how hard they work, remain stuck in the same financial loop. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. There is an invisible structure, a blueprint, that governs how wealth flows into someone's life. And the truth is, most people were never taught it. Not in school, not at home, not even through experience. This blueprint isn't about tactics or strategies. It's about awareness. Bob Proctor used to say, "You were born rich. That doesn't mean you had money in your crib. It means you were born with the mental faculties to create wealth, but you were likely programmed away from that truth. From a young age, your mind was filled with limitations about money, that it's scarce, hard to get, and only for a few. These beliefs became your inner script, shaping how you see the world and what you believe you deserve. This blueprint lies in your subconscious mind, where over 95% of your daily behavior and decisions are made. And here's the shocking part. If your subconscious blueprint is set to struggle, you will unconsciously sabotage opportunities for success. You might work harder, but not smarter. You might even make more money, only to lose it again. Because the outer world always follows the pattern of the inner one. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you align with. This hidden architecture isn't found in bank accounts or business models. It's found in thought patterns, emotional frequencies, and the vibration you emit every single day. When you begin to decode and reconstruct that inner framework, the results start showing in your reality, almost like magic, but it's not. It's law. Now, before we go further, take a second to subscribe to this channel and like the video. What you're about to discover might not just change the way you think, it could shift the entire direction of your financial future. And you won't want to miss what's coming next. Most people believe their thoughts are private, fleeting, and harmless. But they aren't. Every single thought you repeat, especially those charged with emotion, acts like a silent command set into the unseen layers of reality. Thoughts are not just mental chatter. They are energy, carrying a frequency. And in the same way a radio picks up a signal, the universe, or what some call the field of infinite potential, responds to those signals with precision. This is where Bob Proctor's teachings cut deep. He taught that your mind is a transmitter and a receiver. When you dwell on poverty, lack, fear, or doubt, you broadcast those frequencies. And the law of attraction doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. If your dominant thoughts scream, "I don't have enough," you unknowingly instruct the universe to reinforce that very reality. People often ask, "But I think about money all the time. Why isn't it showing up?" The answer is simple and uncomfortable, because you're not thinking about money from a place of abundance. You're thinking from lack. You're thinking from fear. And those thoughts, repeated over time, become a vibrational signature that pushes wealth away instead of drawing it in. This isn't just about positive thinking, that's surface level. It's about shifting the core belief behind the thought. When your thoughts align with confidence, expectancy, and inner certainty, your vibration changes. You move from desperation to attraction, from needing money to embodying the state of wealth. That's when strange things start to happen. Doors open, people appear, ideas flow. If every thought is a command, the question is, what kind of orders have you been giving your life without even knowing it? Because your reality is always listening, and it never misses a single instruction. Everything in the universe, including you, vibrates. This isn't metaphor or mysticism. It's physics. At a microscopic level, everything is energy in motion. What makes this extraordinary is that your personal frequency is not static. It shifts based on how you think, feel, and act. And the frequency you emit acts like a magnet, drawing people, opportunities, and situations that match it, whether you realize it or not. Bob Proctor emphasized this idea relentlessly. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. That means you are constantly attracting from your current state of being, not from your goals or wishes. If your internal frequency is frustration, you attract more circumstances to be frustrated about. If it's gratitude and expansion, life reflects that back in kind. It's not personal. It's vibrational law. This invisible frequency is why two people can walk into the same room and have entirely different experiences. One attracts conversations, deals, synchronicities. The other feels ignored, overlooked, stuck. It's not luck. It's alignment. Your frequency communicates louder than your words, and it speaks directly to the unseen intelligence of the universe that responds to resonance, not effort. But here's where things start to shift. You can change your frequency. Not through willpower, but through awareness. Start by observing your emotional state. It's the fastest indicator of your vibration. Are you feeling empowered, open, and excited? Or tight, doubtful, and resistant? The goal is not to fake high energy, but to genuinely tune into states that elevate your field. And when that shift happens internally, the outer world begins to organize itself to match it. The key is consistency. One powerful moment of clarity won't override years of low-frequency habits. But sustained adjustment, even subtle, can recalibrate your entire reality over time. This is where attraction begins to feel less like effort and more like a natural flow. The harsh truth is, most people are not broke because of external conditions. They're broke because of internal conditioning. This conditioning runs deep, often installed during childhood, reinforced by culture, school, and generations of inherited beliefs. It hides in phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are greedy." These ideas don't just pass through your mind, they take root. And once rooted, they shape every financial decision you make. Bob Proctor often warned that paradigms, those deep mental programs, are the invisible prison that most people live in without ever realizing it. These paradigms keep you in cycles. You get a raise, but find new ways to spend it. You start a business, but sabotage the momentum. You receive a financial gift, but feel guilty or unworthy. It's not the money that's the problem. It's the unconscious belief system operating underneath. This is why some people stay broke even after learning strategies, taking courses, or working harder than ever. They don't need more tactics. They need a new identity. Because your financial reality can never exceed the image you hold of yourself. If deep down you still see yourself as someone who struggles, you'll find a way, consciously or not, to return to that familiar state. Here's the mystery most overlook. The subconscious mind doesn't care whether a belief is helpful or destructive. It simply obeys what's been programmed. And unless you interrupt that cycle, your life becomes a loop. Same emotions, same actions, same results, just different circumstances. Breaking out of that loop doesn't start with money. It starts with awareness. With challenging the thoughts you accepted as truth. With noticing when you flinch at abundance or feel undeserving of more. Until those invisible scripts are rewritten, wealth remains an external chase, when in truth, it's meant to be an internal shift first. You can't outperform your programming. No matter how ambitious you are or how many hours you work, your subconscious patterns will always pull you back to what you believe is normal for you. That's why real wealth starts by rewriting those internal codes. And this doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. Bob Proctor taught that you must first become aware of the paradigm you're operating from. Ask yourself, what do I truly believe about money, success, and self-worth? Don't answer with what sounds good. Answer with what feels familiar. Do you believe money flows easily? Or do you feel like you have to suffer for every cent? Do you associate wealth with freedom or with guilt? The answers to these questions reveal the roots of your current reality. Once you identify these patterns, you can begin the process of reprogramming. And it begins with repetition. The subconscious mind learns through emotional repetition, hearing, feeling, seeing the same message over and over again. That's why affirmations work when they're not just spoken, but felt. Saying, "I am wealthy," isn't enough. You must connect to the feeling of already being that person, even before the evidence shows up. Visualization is another key. When you imagine yourself living a life of freedom, ease, and abundance in vivid detail, you're impressing that image onto your subconscious. And the more real it feels internally, the more natural it becomes to move toward it externally. You stop hesitating, stop playing small. Your actions begin to align with your new self-concept. But here's where most people slip. They do it once or twice, and when nothing changes immediately, they give up. Reprogramming isn't about dramatic overnight change. It's about daily consistency, shifting the dominant story in your mind until the old one fades out and the new one becomes automatic. That's when reality bends. That's when the financial ceiling starts to break. Money isn't just a tool or a number in a bank account. It's energy, and like all energy, it moves in frequencies. This isn't just a spiritual metaphor. It's a vibrational truth. When you truly begin to understand this, everything changes. Because suddenly, money is no longer something distant you chase. It's a frequency you can tune into. The vibration of money is not tied to greed, fear, or desperation, although that's how many people approach it. The real vibration of wealth is calm, certain, expansive. It's generous. It's confident. When you align with that state of being, you begin to attract money not out of need, but from resonance. Opportunities that once felt unreachable begin to appear naturally, almost quietly, because you are finally vibrating on their level. Bob Proctor emphasized that to attract money, you must first become the version of yourself who already has it. That means feeling wealthy, not in the sense of pretending, but by embodying gratitude, abundance, and internal security right now, not later. Because the universe doesn't respond to when it happens. It responds to who you are being. This is why so many people fail to manifest wealth even when they try all the right techniques. If their emotional state is rooted in lack, their frequency is off. They're trying to send a signal of abundance, while their inner world is anchored in fear. That's like tuning into a jazz station, but expecting to hear rock music. It doesn't work. When you begin to live as if you already are that higher, wealthier version of yourself, emotionally, mentally, vibrationally, things begin to shift. The outer world mirrors your internal frequency, and money starts to flow not from struggle, but from alignment. The irony? It often comes when you no longer need it to feel complete, because you've already become whole. Changing your inner world isn't a single event, it's a daily ritual. Most people underestimate the power of repetition. But if your beliefs were installed through constant exposure and emotion, they can only be replaced the same way. This is the part where transformation becomes real, and the results start to compound. One of the most powerful practices Bob Proctor taught was the daily use of autosuggestion, deliberately feeding your subconscious new instructions through repetition. This isn't just about reading affirmations like a robot. It's about writing your new reality, feeling it, and speaking it into existence with intention and clarity. The goal is to shift your internal language from "I hope" to "I am." Another essential practice is visualization, but not passive daydreaming. This is intentional mental rehearsal. Close your eyes and walk through your day as the wealthier version of yourself. Feel the confidence in your voice, the ease in your decisions, the calm in your energy. See your surroundings reflect abundance, not just money, but time, freedom, peace. The mind doesn't distinguish between real and vividly imagined. It responds to what you consistently feed it. Journaling is another underrated key. Each morning or night, write from the perspective of your higher self. Describe the life you're living, the wins you're experiencing, the lessons you're integrating. This act rewires your identity and anchors you in that upgraded frequency. And over time, your outer world begins to take the shape of your inner narrative. Protect your energy. Guard your environment. The mind absorbs more than you realize. Limit exposure to scarcity-driven media, negative conversations, and environments that pull your vibration down. Surround yourself with content, people, and atmospheres that reflect where you're going, not where you've been. And perhaps most importantly, act from the new frequency. Don't wait to feel ready. Every small action taken from that elevated state sends a signal that you are no longer tied to the old script. That is the real evidence to your subconscious that change is not only possible, it's happening now. There comes a moment, quiet, internal, undeniable, when something clicks. You stop chasing. You stop hoping. And you begin to know. Not with logic, not with proof, but with presence. It's a shift so subtle most people miss it. But when it happens, your relationship with wealth transforms. Because you no longer see it as something outside of you. You feel it as something that has already begun within. This moment doesn't always come with fireworks. Often, it's a calm certainty. A change in posture. A breath that feels deeper. A decision made from alignment rather than fear. From that point forward, you start acting, thinking, and speaking differently, not because you're trying to manifest something, but because you've finally accepted that you are no longer the same. Bob Proctor called this alignment with your higher self, the version of you that always existed, but was buried beneath noise, fear, and conditioning. When you reconnect with that version, you stop asking, "When will it happen?" and start affirming, "It's already done." That's when money begins to show up, often through unexpected paths, guided not by force, but by flow. This is why wealth truly starts before it physically arrives. It begins in the shift of identity, in the decision to no longer participate in the old story, in the quiet knowing that life is rearranging itself in response to your new frequency. It's not about waiting for results, it's about becoming the result. And once that happens, the external has no choice but to follow. You've just accessed a deeper truth, one that few are ready to hear, and even fewer are willing to apply. But if you're still watching, it means something inside you has already begun to shift. And that's powerful.